tree and the rope on occasion. I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. It will control the slaves for at least 300 years. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. On top of my list is age, color, intelligence, sex, size of plantations, status, and attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east or west, north or south, have fine hair, coarse hair, tall or short. I shall give you an outline of action. I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, envy stronger than adulation, respect or admiration. Black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old man, the old black man, versus the young black man. Young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus light-skinned slaves. Light-skinned slaves versus the black-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have white servants and overseers who distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on you. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Let's make a slave. First, we need a black nigger man, a pregnant nigger woman, and a baby nigger boy. Second, we will use the same basic principles that we use in breaking a horse. We reduce them from their natural state in nature, independent from them, and thereby create a dependency status so that we may be able to get from them useful production for our business and pleasure. Both horse and nigger must be broken and tied together for orderly production. Special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. Psychological and physical instructions of containment must be created for both. Both a wild horse and a wild nigger must be broken from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body, take the mind, break the will to resist. Keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring. Therefore, if you break the female mothers, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. When the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. For normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. Take the stud horse, break him for limited containment. Completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in her female and the nigger infant. Tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse, faced in opposite directions. Set him on fire and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining niggers. Take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger males to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. If she shows any sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract that last bit of bitch out of her. When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. We have reversed the relationship. In her natural uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male, and she would have a limited protected tendency toward her independent male offspring, and would raise male offsprings to be dependent like her. We reverse nature by burning and pulling a civilized nigger apart and bull-whipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. By her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen, independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reverse roles. For fear of the young male's life, she will sacrifice